Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Madd down in the catacombs once again. We've been asked by quite a few people to say something about the visit of the Holy Father. I guess we're supposed to add something new that has not already been said, Rob. I don't know.
Right.
I'm not sure exactly what's expected of us because as we watch the unfolding of this visit, very historic visit, it seemed like the question marks that we have, that many people have had, are fairly obvious. I'm not sure exactly what we can say to add to that. I guess some of the things that happened. Maybe it's just me sort of admitting to my aging process. I don't know, but I don't understand. For example, when the Pope, who's a rather large man, crams himself into a Fiat, people like Shepard Smith at Fox News Channel are going to say, "Wow, isn't that great? He's saving gas mileage." But Rob, I don't know about you, but to me, it's just like it seems like a political stunt.
A little phony.
Yeah, and now I'm not saying that it is. I'm just wondering how the Holy Father's team pulls this sort of thing off without any consideration for the fact there's got to be a certain level, certain percentage of people who are going to say that just seems
It's like a stunt.
it seems like a stunt. A little tiny Fiat running around. And then the Holy Father apparently would see some young, poor, unfortunate child in a wheelchair. He'll stop the motorcade, hop out of the Fiat, and go up and kiss the child. I'm not sure what's accomplished by that. I don't want to be too cynical, but I don't understand, like if it were me, if I'm imagining myself as the Holy Father, if I see the child in a wheelchair and I say, "Stop this," there's cameras all around me, I'm going to jump out of the Fiat and go give him a kiss. How that doesn't look like it's all about me. And in my heart, it's just so huge. I've got to get out and give him a kiss. That sort of thing has been going on for some time. To me, it seems like the politicization of the papacy, in that we're doing things, the popes are now doing things that were always sort of in the purview of the consummate politician, kissing babies and that
Right.
sort of thing. So there's all that sort of peripheral, superficial, those superficial aspects of these papal visits that cause me to scratch my head and say, "Gee, I wonder how they pull that off." On the other side is this question of what exactly was accomplished by the papal visits, and I'm not sure what's been accomplished for a long time. We have BBC documentaries on, for example, John Paul's famous and very expensive papal visits to Ireland, having really affected no change whatsoever. Ireland continued to go further and further down to the point now where recently they voted in gay marriage as the law of the Irish land. I'm not seeing what exactly is accomplished by these papal visits. And for us to question them makes us, of course, bad Catholics and worse than Protestants and so forth. But I really don't even see anyone positing a theory for why Pope Francis coming to the United States, billions of dollars being spent on security and so forth, why this is necessary in terms of the spirituality or saving souls. I don't really see anyone even positing a theory on that, and I'm not sure what it would be. Does this mean, now that Francis has come to the United States and made his visit, does this mean that we're going to stop doing things like massive contraception use or abortion, pornography, drug use? Is anything going to change because the Holy Father visited our country? I mean, am I wrong? Can you think of anything of what it would be that would say, yes, now everything's going to be better after this?
No.
I don't see what
Surge in
happened.
emotions.
It's a lot of emotion, and you have this idea that now I have seen the most famous man in the world, and that's great, but I don't see how in the world this could be justified as having any impact on souls. And I guess as the leader of the Catholic Church, that's what we're looking for. And again, I don't want to be too cynical, but that's kind of how I respond to it. I don't really see it unless I had spent the past 15, 20 years watching Oprah Winfrey, and I really bought into the whole idea that the Holy Father just has to get out of the Fiat to kiss the child in the wheelchair. That proves that he's more humble.
Right.
I guess there's a certain level of cynicism that we're all struggling with. And then when you couple that with things like this very, maybe you know who Mo Roca is. I'm not exactly sure. Apparently he was with Jon Stewart and The Daily Show and so forth. But he's an openly gay TV reporter in a comic, and he read the epistle at the Pope's Mass at Madison Square Garden. And so the image of that, if you look at the video of the Holy Father sitting right behind Mr. Mo Rocca as he's reading the epistle, and everyone knows he's an out homosexual, this just sends such a confusing message to the world. What is he trying to say? And if the Holy Father is not responsible for this, how long do we extend sort of a pass to the Holy Father? Like if every time he visits a country, there's some kind of an abuse like this, and the Mo Rocca, he tweeted, "I am so deeply grateful and humbled to have delivered a reading at a Mass celebrated by the Holy Father." The gay and lesbian community is just thrilled with this. If this sort of thing happens, and then we saw in the Philippines where we had abuse of the Eucharist, we saw in Rio where they were actually passing the Eucharist around out of Dixie cups, every time the Holy Father travels somewhere, there's this massive sort of moment for the left, for the radicals, to say, yes, the Holy Father is compromised, the Catholic Church is giving up on her old ways. When that continues to happen, when do we finally say to the Holy Father, maybe you shouldn't do this anymore. Maybe you should stop these trips if that is all that's going to come out of it is the left winning another victory. Again, I'm just asking the questions. Maybe there's something I'm missing. I don't know. But that seems to be what's happening out of this thing. And so people say, well, the media is sort of exploiting this. But then you have this example from the Holy Father holding a private meeting with a same-sex couple in the U.S. during his visit. Again, we're trying to figure out the good side over here, what he's done for souls, and then over here, the scandal that ensued because of the visit. So here's an example on the list of things that are scandalous. The Holy Father has a private meeting with a longtime friend from Argentina who has been in a same-sex relationship for 19 years. Watch the video of this. Yeah, exactly. It was not pleasant. But you have this guy, his name is Yayo Grassi. He's an openly gay man, and he brought his partner to visit the Holy Father. His partner's name is Iwan Bagas, as well as several other friends, to the Vatican Embassy on September 23rd for a brief visit with the Holy Father. A video of the meeting shows Grassi and Pope Francis greeting each other with great big warm hugs. In an exclusive interview with CNN, Grassi said the visit was arranged personally by the Holy Father via email in the weeks ahead of Francis's highly anticipated visit to the United States. And again, if you watch this video and you see this warm embrace and you think to yourself, if I'm on the left, if I'm thinking that the Catholic Church needs to change her doctrine, this visit seems only to have driven home the idea that Pope Francis intends to change the Church permanently to embrace leftist ideals. That seems to be almost the inescapable conclusion. I don't blame anyone on the left for concluding that that's what the Holy Father wants to do. So, that's fine. If that's what they want to do, if that's what Greg Burke, the man who organizes the PR campaign from the Vatican for the Holy Father, for Pope Francis, if that's what he wants to do, fine. But what I would say to my neo-Catholic friends is, what is it going to take for you to realize that we have been infiltrated, that in defense of Holy Mother Church is going to be the ultimate moral authority in the world. It only makes sense that if you want to destroy the moral fabric of society universally throughout the whole world, that you're going to target the Catholic Church first. That has happened. And you're seeing this come out now in spades with Pope Francis admitting, who am I to judge? Don't be obsessive about abortion and all of these things. What's it going to take, guys, for you to realize that something has gone really wrong? You gotta get on board here. It doesn't matter that traditionalists may have pioneered the idea that this infiltration was happening from the left into the Catholic Church, undermining the Catholic Church. Who cares? Who cares who came up with it first? Whether it was Michael Davies or Archbishop Lefebvre or Walter Matt or whoever, Solange Hertz, God rest her soul, just passed away last night. These people are all dead now. We're not saying we were right. We're saying that obviously something has happened. And so our neo-Catholic brothers and sisters who believe in the faith and who have belief in the real presence, believe in God, believe in the church, please, fellas, ladies, join us in recognizing we've been infiltrated. We need to do something about that, whatever we possibly can. We need to stand up and say something has gone terribly wrong in the Catholic Church. Please stop denying the reality here. Pope Francis came to the United States, met with a homosexual couple. Pope, what's his name? Cardinal Walter Casper, coming out the night before the synod and saying, gay people are born that way. We have a 17-year veteran of the Vatican, of the Holy Office, of the CDF, in this Monsignor, I can't think of his name right now, but he's a Polish Monsignor, saying that he's gay, he's a homosexual, he's out, and the church needs to change her teaching. They're deeply embedded in the Catholic Church. They're deeply embedded in the Vatican. And what we all need to do is recognize that that is the reality, that this is an apocalyptic moment, and we need to come together on this and try to do something about the fact they've infiltrated our beloved church. You understand what I'm saying here? This really is the 11th hour. There may be a chance, a possibility for Catholics the world over to do something about this if we would wake up and say, yes, we've been infiltrated. I'm sorry. Pope Francis, maybe he doesn't realize what he's doing, but he is accommodating the left, and we need to acknowledge that so that we can do something to try to undermine that effort. Please join us. If you want to call it traditional Catholics, or you don't, you just want to call it authentic Catholicism, fine. But we need to acknowledge what's happened. Hopefully, maybe in the months to come, maybe even the weeks to come with the synod, this will be easier for all of us to acknowledge, to recognize, and to admit. I'm Michael Matt, and I hope and pray that you can see that this needs to happen. In any case, we'll see you next week. God bless.